It's 1:30 on a Friday afternoon. I would normally be in study hall getting work done. Today, I've got to run up to computer lab 222 to print off the 21st draft of my oratory for CIS public speaking. On my way there, I pass Mr. Paul E. Kovac, teaching distracted freshmen an intro to business. Okay, listen guys. Once again, an example of a cooperative would be, Henry Dorgan, stop creeping out around here! Whoa. It's human nature to get distracted by something or someone that has absolutely nothing to do with the topic. It happens to all of us. Wait, where was I again? Sociologist Reginald Bibby of the University of Lethbridge in Alberta, Canada, says that late baby boomer and early Gen X parents are doing a much better job of focusing on their teenagers than their older generation counterparts. They're taking the time to tell them that life is an opportunity in itself. The same cannot be said as for parents setting an example by using appropriate words. We as humans don't have to abuse our vocabulary to get our point across. The world must not lose focus on a serious issue that has hit American schools: cyberbullying and teen suicide motivated by language. Fag, homo, queer, gay, retarded. Derogatory terms used by teens in everyday speech and networking. An enforced no-tolerance policy against such language online and in America's schools wouldn't be an unreasonable proposition. Let's examine how and why language is misused, the tragic consequence seen all too often, and answers to the problem the world can provide. Now, we've all seen the American high school class system, the prequel to fraternity and sorority with various characters. Argots flourish, and so does new lingo: fag, homo, queer, retarded, and gay. These words have new meanings, not entirely overnight, but over time. Do indignation, ignorance, and arrogance play a role? Well, in June 2010, the Clarion Ledger newspaper in Jackson, Mississippi, requested that a randomly selected 211 students, a fourth of them black, 3/4 white, participate in an anonymous survey. 90% of the black and 30% of the white students said they used the N-word on a daily basis. Yeah. Oh sure, modified words sound cooler, but we forget their original definitions. However, with age comes wisdom. We're well aware these words don't mean what they imply. The word gay can still mean warm, light, and happy. It's a trademark word of the holiday season. However, as reported recently by Yahoo News, a music teacher at Cherry Knoll Elementary School in Traverse City, Michigan, removed the word gay from Deck the Halls before the children's Christmas concert because, well, some of the first and second graders couldn't stop giggling. Really? Well, their parents protested the action. Homo is the genus of the human species. Queer, mysterious or strange. Retarded? Well, a retard is the dynamic indication for louder and slower in music. Sometimes the British call a cigarette a fag. Fagging, by British boarding school tradition, was the educational practice in which younger pupils acted as servants to the school prefects. Negro is the Spanish word for black. Use of any of these words today could lose a person their job. Today, Facebook can tell us anything about a person, the groups they join, and their personal beliefs. Job employers are looking for ethical people who can have empathy for colleagues and clients. According to a survey conducted by CareerBuilder.com, 61% of employers say they're more likely to hire workers with high EQs than high IQs. Now, by no means at all does this mean to say that individuals with high IQs aren't ethical, but sometimes managers are just looking for unassuming employees who can live up to face value by using language appropriately and just acting more mature in general. More mature. The 2004 movie Mean Girls, written by Tina Fey, allows us to laugh at how ridiculous all those school cliques really are, especially among teen girls, no offense. But for some, the story was much too real. One recent incident in particular. Phoebe Prince was a beautiful, shy 15-year-old girl from Fennoy, Ireland, who had just moved to South Hadley, Massachusetts with her mother and 4 siblings in hopes of having a better life. She was enrolled at South Hadley High School, made new friends, seemed to be doing well in her courses. She even gained the attention of an older boy or two. In fact, she had a fancy fling with the star senior football player. Now that made the mean girls jealous. They didn't like it. It wasn't fair. So they began to spread rumors about Phoebe. She was an Irish slut, bitch, whore. Phoebe began to receive threats. Go back to Ireland, or better yet, kill yourself. She was convinced. On January 14th, 2010, while walking home from school after a humiliating day of taunting abuse, Phoebe was hit in the head by a pop can thrown from a passing car. That was the last straw. She went up to her room, grabbed a rope from her closet, and hung herself in the stairwell. One of her younger sisters discovered her body. Some of the mean girls posted shallow comments on her Facebook memorial page. She was bullied to death. It's well known. Phoebe is only one of many who have committed suicide out of fear. Statistics from ABC News report that nearly 30% of American students are either bullies or victims, and 160,000 kids stay home from school every day in fear. A study in Britain found that at least half the suicides among young people were related to bullying. A girl who once stated life is an opportunity in itself. Well, Phoebe rid herself of God's greatest gift, but her death wasn't in vain. There was a national outrage. Hundreds of YouTube video bloggers expressed shock, sadness, and most of all, anger at the students, the principal, the school district, the town of South Hadley, the state of Massachusetts. One man who stood out was W.J. O'Reilly. We are all to blame for not taking action, he simply said. Many in the state legislature agreed. On May 3, 2010, Massachusetts Governor Deval Patrick signed the state's anti-bullying bill into law, banning all forms of physical and verbal harassment on school grounds, buses, and activities. Said conference committee member and state senator Michael R. Napick, people say kids will be kids. Well, guess what? That's not an excuse, and they can't be taking that approach anymore. Now, I think it's time all young people show respect for each other. We don't have to support a group of people or approve of their behavior or beliefs. No one is asking or forcing us to do so. I think it's about time that we have equal rights for all people. That was a Facebook status, and about a month ago it was posted by a high school senior who just spent a day with kindergartners as a student teacher. She's the daughter of a very prominent woman in national forensics. Joni Anchor. You know, we should use the polite words we learned in kindergarten. Weird, messed up, stupid, unfair, wacky, anything but fag, queer, homo, gay, and retarded. W.J. O'Reilly has the blueprint answer. Trust yourself. Speak up. Speak out. Create safe environments for all by sustained dialogue every step of the way. So he's saying that basically we should live our lives and use our own words to stand up for others and for ourselves, because life is an opportunity in itself.